Bullshit. I'm Alexander Surya Jr. at 7:25 p.m. October 24th. These people did not give me information for fame. They had some terrorist plot, and I didn't trust them. And they were telling me something, and they wouldn't even tell me. They're also running just some illegal gambling ring investigation or something that didn't make sense to me, and doing some investigation for something. And then they just started telling me information one day about my life and kept trying to tell me some story of my life about all the stuff I didn't know. They weren't giving me info for fame. They weren't giving me info for me to report this. They actually tried to attempt murder on me when I started reporting it. They started trying to attempt murder on me when I started documenting. They would actually fire lasers and beams at me. They weren't giving me info for fame. Who's falling for that bullshit? They were ascendants to Illuminati penances because they stole large sums of money from me. And then they were supposed to tell me information and tell me the story of my life, as they put it. And they were trying to tell me all this stuff about my life that I never knew about, that had been going on since 2011. So they weren't trying to give me fame. They were telling me stuff about these odd occurrences that had occurred in my life that I was just oblivious to. And then I started just hearing more and more, and then they were trying to recruit me to something and trying to get me to learn this technology I was a victim of, and trying to recruit me to implantation and learn mind melding and implantation and whatever the hell these people have been doing to me. And I was like, you're fucking crazy. And then I put together they had a global terrorist agenda, and I started reporting everything. I also was hearing about all this property and ideas and data they had been stealing from me since 2011. And then all this betting mule money they had been stealing, and all sorts of jazz they had been stealing from me for a really long time. So I was like, they're robbing me. And then they just kept trying to abuse me into silence about them robbing me, and I've been fighting back ever since. They were never trying to give me fame. They were trying to abuse me out of my ideas, my data, my property. They were also trying to abuse me and pretend they were implanted so they could steal money for data that came out of my brain, my thoughts and ideas, and something about some smartest kid in the world belt, and steal money from my data and steal these belts they talk about. Yeah, they weren't trying to give me fame. They were trying to abuse me into silence because they were stealing opportunities and stealing property and pretending some game about my life was about them. And they were pretending all these belts that were mine were theirs. And they were trying to steal opportunities from me, money, etc. And then they started selling these opportunities that were mine and these belts to people illegally and committing exploitation and unpaid servitude and basically making money off of my life illegally, while also trying to prevent me from living life and carrying out betting agendas, etc. So they were never trying to give me fame. They were just trying to carry out their betting agendas, from truth bets to whatever. So don't fall for any bullshit. And they weren't just trying to carry out their betting agendas. They were stealing my intellectual property, stealing my data, and stealing money, stealing all these things people were trying to help me have, or they were supposedly made for me. These kids stole them. And they were running it and making money off of me illegally without my permission, and wouldn't tell me shit and wouldn't let me see anything because they were stealing these things, like some place to sell content, some place to sell ideas, this and that. And they stole this and were running it illegally and stealing my ideas, my data, my content. And then they've just been lying to idiots saying they gave me fame. They never gave me fame. I just fought against these people myself. I don't know if they gave me fame or not. And then I just kept putting together weird information that people may have thought I couldn't a lot of people didn't think I'd be able to put together because it was my life. But it was all this information out of order and stuff I was in the dark about and oblivious to. And I've been assessing for 5 years and 8 months. So they weren't trying to give me fame. They were trying to frame me and make it. One of the things they were doing was trying to make me look like I was capable of mind melding and capable of hacking and capable of programming and trying to make me look capable of all these things that I wasn't even capable of, in order to try to make me fulfill some criminal profile, because these people had a betting ring, and I guess they used their betting ring for their investigation, and I guess they used some belts and used this betting ring for their investigation, and these kids knew that, and they manufacture results in order to sell perceptions. So what they were doing is trying to give me belts for things I was not even capable of doing, such as mind melding or computer programming or hacking and God knows what else. Maybe financial crimes. And maybe they were trying to frame me for their bank heist they were pulling in New York and God knows where else, man. And then they were lying to people, saying, oh, manipulate bets. Maybe they're giving people limited information and saying, oh, manipulate bets. Make them look like a hacker, we're trying to give them fame. Make them look like a mind melder, we're trying to give them fame. But what they're really trying to do is create a criminal profile for a frame of crimes they had committed in the past, is what I put together. So don't fall for bullshit. And they were never trying to give me fame. These people were just stealing from me and trying to frame me. And then they were also just trying to abuse me into silence and put this device in my brain, I guess for a previous frame, or they stuck it in my brain to steal ideas and property because they knew I'd made the EMR app select. They knew I was this peace, justice, unity at gmail.com Apple ID, but not the hacker. I was just a victim who didn't know anything and made all these ideas that these people were stealing. I was also justicepeaceunity@gmail.com, just the idea guy, not a hacker, any weird associations, nothing negative associations, nothing illegal, just making ideas. And then there were people who would pretend my jazz was theirs and try to scare me off of things because there'd be some association, and these people, I guess, would steal my Apple ID or pretend it was theirs and do illegal shit, I guess, to scare me off my Apple ID, but I just never knew. Because at one point, in 2017, someone was trying to get me to change my phone number and my Apple ID, or would hint at it in customer service, and I didn't understand it. But I kept my number and just got a new number, and then people even started pretending that number was theirs. So there's even data theft involved with this. Yeah, my phone number is 713-412-7665, 713-458-8480, and 832-917-2976. But yeah, I am altruistic. That's why I have an altruism belt in New York, supposedly. Me helping terrorists and criminals who are pure evil get off the hook wouldn't be altruism. That'd be a lack of concern for the well-being of others. Altruism is selfless concern for the well-being of others. Having a lack of concern for the well-being of others, meaning letting terrorists and murderers and criminals escape prison, would not be altruism. That'd be pure evil. And people with zero respect for human life, that wouldn't be altruism. That'd be a lack of concern for the well-being of others. So I don't know what they're telling you. But yeah, that's a key piece of this. So there are all these kids who were stealing my data, ideas, etc. They weren't trying to give me fame. If there's fame in me reporting whatever I reported, I made my own fame. And if there's fame in my ideas, which I make myself, no one programmed me to make ideas, I make them myself, that's my own fame. If I made ideas to combat terrorism, combat implantation, and aid law enforcement in dealing with technology that maybe 0.001% of the globe knows about, that was because I was a victim of stuff. They didn't commit these crimes on me and make me a victim to give me fame. They committed these crimes on me to try to murder me and abuse me into silence and manipulate bets. And then also they conspired to human program me because I was supposedly going to be some Illuminati president. So they conspired to human programming. That's why they put all this tech in me. Not to give me fame, and they also did to steal ideas, property, and data, amongst other things, and then use it to manipulate bets is another piece of this. And then some of the ideas I made were my own ideas. They weren't trying to program me. I was thinking about how to do problem solving and how to defend myself as well as others against this terrorist threat and these kids' terrorist agenda. And that's some of the ideas I was making, like the Signaface multi-factor authentication system with real-time video. Since implantation, people can see through your eyes. They can see with telepathy every thought that comes to awareness, things people say to you, passwords, financial information will upload to a computer. They can steal it. So I was thinking about how to thwart this and thwart this threat. So I made the Signaface with real-time video, which is just biometric verification, but there's a lot more to it than just biometric verification. But yeah, they weren't trying to give me fame. They were trying to frame me, and they were trying to murder me, and they still are trying to murder me. They still have terrorists on the loose, and they pretend they're arresting people that they don't, and they still leave key people out of prison who are armed with some of this tech that interacts with my heart, and they pretend they put them in prison, but they didn't, so that's more evidence of conspiracy to murder. Bet my life on it. So these kids pretending to arrest key people who have access to key tech in my brain, body, and heart, that's evidence of conspiracy to murder, and they purposely don't arrest them so they can try to murder me if maybe shit hits the fan. And they have this idea that killing me will somehow absolve them of terrorism and RICO, but they're delusional. It won't solve their problem.